siem na siiye'yu, siem na swala kwa, siem na skwalmoch, enta skwalmoch sne, kwastenachan. Siem skook te kwetsen salchwein, ni chitzel la lemechen at de chwalmos alten zet ni chwalmos lachen. O heitzapcha siem na siiye'yu, heitzapcha. Hello everybody, I'm Jared. And I really want to get real. I want to get real. I'm going to be real here. Okay. So when I was a kid, when I was very young, my mom had to go back to work, and my dad had to go back to work. Everybody used to go back to work in those days. So my dad's mom was there lots, looking after me and kind of raising me on the side, and run around with her. And that's where I got most of my young language. Was really lucky with her. She'd look after me, and as like I got older and older, she'd always be sharing, with me, how to chop the salmon, how to chop the cedar, how to which woods to use for this and that, all these different things. And so when I went to school, it wasn't really like that. As you can hear right now, I have a bit of a stutter. And as a child, it wasn't always the best thing to have. And so in grade school, young age, right, I was this half-breed, stuttering young guy. I was always really heavy, and I got really zitty when I was a kid. But what I really want to reference was that there were people who were near me in my life then, who were like my friends, or at least what I thought were my friends. Some of them were, they were really mean. I lived in, like lockers. I got my head, jammed into walls and toilets and all kinds of horrible things. And those other children, they were, like my friends and, like my relatives, but they were really all I had. And so, as an example of who I was then, and, actually probably why I look this way now, when I was in grade 4, you can probably ask all my relatives who are watching, I used to bring a briefcase every day to up school. Kids, they usually bring, the backpacks. I brought a briefcase. So I was always kind of different, right? Always different. I used to look at, how the old ones looked. When you looked at the pictures of, my dad's like dad and his dad and all their like generations, they looked nice. They always wore really, really nice outfits, real nice hats. Always looked number one. Nobody was being slobby. And so I was really like always like I'm raised that way. You like to look nice. You got to be ready. So it didn't make me very popular, and so there was a time in my life where I had nobody to turn to, and there were even years in my life where my stutter got so bad that the only place I could run away to, like was the woods. All my friends weren't really very nice, and like my mom and dad had to work all the time, and like my dad's like mom had all these other children to raise and everybody else to look after, and so I went in the woods, and I think that's where what like helped me was being able to connect with, like myself, and like the trees, and the seasons, and like the river, and the animals, and what was going on out there, and how it was going. And because I think I was 14 years old. I didn't have a lot of friends. Just had changed friend groups to run away from those who were mean, and the Schlenny I was with. She left me, and you know what? I tried to happily, but not successfully, but I tried to hang myself in the closet. I can remember dropping, and the wooden support snapping out, and wasn't really very well designed. I hadn't really thought it through. I just wanted it to stop, and I want everybody out there to know that that happens. I don't know how else to say it, but as with like the way of our world and the way of our youth and the way of everything, especially in this new world, it's okay to have those horrible, nasty feelings. If I had realized that I could like reach out, like there was nobody to reach out in the 90s. Like, and even if I did, I probably would, probably think that no, only like, wild and head, like individuals would like reach out. But I'm here to say, really, when I want to get real, that if you have these issues, you should reach out. Not, like you don't reach out to people who are being mean. But those elders and my mom and my dad, if they had really known what was going on in my life, things would have changed really fast, and they'd have helped me a lot. And even if they were not ones who were there helping, there are friends out there, and I just I want to use this opportunity, like to reach out and like say that if anybody out there is having thoughts or being bullied or suffering in that way, that like even if you just like reach out to me, like on Facebook or anybody, and just have a chat, right? Like, so what did I do? How did I work out of that? What helped me? Well, I ran away. It's probably 15. I started hanging out with all new people. I turned 18. I moved to Nanaimo. I went to culinary arts. I went to Victoria. I lived out there, and I was out there working away. I'm working, like my way up in my restaurants. I just want to add in there that I was always like moving up, because in like that world, are like values of, like always having to be early and always working hard and, always being like 100% honest, right? And I'm loyal and humble, really like worked in that restaurant world, so it was easy to work my way up. But I was working as I'm a chef at this one restaurant, and this other chef, he walks up to me and he says, "Hey," he says, "I'll ask you." And I said, "Okay, what is it?" He says, "If your mother-in-law wanted to move in with you, what would you be charging her for rent?" I thought to myself, and I said, "Well, that's your wife's, like, mom." He says, "Yeah." I said, "And you're going to charge her for rent?" He says, "Yeah." Like how much? And I said, "Do you have any children with your wife?" He goes, "Yeah, we've got 3 children." And I said, "Well, did your wife's mom charge you to have your wife or those children?" And he looked all funny, and he goes, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, you owe her your wife and your children, so maybe you shouldn't charge her. Like, I think that's crazy." And he looked at me and he goes, "You don't get it." And all I could think to myself is, I don't think he gets it. There were lots of that when I was out there. These signs that you're not at home. Signs that, that you're not the same. And I started to realize then how much we know, how much you know. If you're out there watching this, you know a lot that other people don't know. We know when the like salmon are in. We know when the like huckleberries are out. We know how to look after each other. Even if we don't do it, we know what we're supposed to do. We're like raised in this whole other way. Even the young ones out there. Even if you only get this like much of it, you've got this much more than anybody else out there. We don't. You're so valuable. And you realize that when you turn, I don't know, maybe 25 or something, if you leave like I did, you run away. I moved home when I was maybe 28 or something. But I moved away, right? And I realized out there that those people are crazy. And I run home. I live at home with everybody who's not really crazy. And then as, I'm like moving along, returning home and connecting with everybody, you start remembering, okay, I remember these words, right? When I was young, we did these words, and we used to do this, we used to, used to do that, but like we used to harvest this, we used to use these things. And slowly over the last while, it's become more and more obvious to me how much our community knows than like the wider community, and that each of us, we have our own a little piece of who we are, of what we are as mastimoch, that we don't realize when we're young what we're learning and how we're learning and what's going on. Whenever I ask anybody else these days, I say, oh, hey, what was it like when you were young? Oh, they say, oh, the elders used to treat me like a slave, always having to haul things around for them and listening to things. But as you get older, you think, I wasn't a slave. They were actually trying to show me like how to harvest, all these things. But then, you got to walk up, all the way from the ocean with them, or, you have to stay awake. I remember having, like to go, to the longhouse when I was young, and you're not allowed to go to the bathroom. You just got to sit there and listen. And these were the times where you learn things, so that like when I go to an event now and it's only half an hour long, or they say, okay, Jared, you've got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes to speak. 3 minutes? I think I've already talked for like 20 minutes. 3 minutes ain't gonna do nothing. But the other people out there, they're in a rush. Always running around and never just in one spot, and they always got something to do. Slow down. Elders will say it all the time. Slow down. Don't run along so fast. How much we know. How much value that has. And how much value you have. And how much value we have because of this. And so, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's gotta be freaking hard to be young right now, dude. When I left school, I left all that hardship, there. I got to go home. I got to go home and, run away. Now, everybody's on here. Oh, sure, my social media, right? That can just live with you. I can't imagine how hard it would be to try to do everything I used to do and do this. So remember to look after you, because you are very, very important. There's a high chance that you have a little bit of information that nobody else has, and you won't realize it. Probably not for years. You'll think to yourself, oh yeah, whatever, that old man was rambling at me that like one time, flup. But all of a sudden, when you're an old man, you'll think, I never saw anybody else do that. I wonder if they don't know. And then you go ask, and people don't know. You know way more than you think you know. And so, one more time, I want to say, if you're having trouble with feelings of depression or suicide or drug and alcohol abuse, that there's a lot of us who would love to help you. Okay? We want to help you. No one's here to judge nobody. Okay? We're all here to try to work together to lift everyone up. Everyone. All of our tribe up. So we can all be number one. Because we're all number one inside. You're number one. So heute Scott and no heute siem for listening to me ramble at you. I'm going to sing a song. I hope it's not too horrible for you. This is one I learned recently, and you know, when I'm out in the woods and I'm there on my own and I just need to imagine kind of what's going on, I can hear it, you know, in my mind. It helps me concentrate. So, heute siem. We're so lucky. We got all these songs. We got this language. It's ours. You can have it. You can use it when everybody else is around. It's for you. Reach out and grab it. Take it. Take the food. Take the song. Take the story. Take the language. Learn it. Wear it. Hand it to the young ones. Hand it to the old ones. Be not so much skweyl siem siiye'yu. Now is the time. Heute